However, he did not consider his own life to fulfill his ministry of proclaiming the gospel of God's grace. Before embarking for Jerusalem, he wrote his most robust epistle, the Letter to the Romans, where he shared his desire to visit the capital of the empire and share the word with the church, being sent by her to Spain. Despite bringing significant financial aid to the poor of Judea, Paul was arrested in Jerusalem and from there transferred to Caesarea, where he was accused for 2 years by the Jews under the aegis of governors Felix and Festus. Faced with Festus's tendency to hand him over to the Sanhedrin, who planned his death, Paul, using the privileges of his Roman citizenship, chose to be tried in Rome. On the journey to the capital of the empire, he faced a terrible shipwreck. The boat completely fell apart, but all the passengers and crew were miraculously saved, as God promised Paul. On the island of Malta, where they arrived, a viper bit Paul's hand, but God neutralized the serpent's lethal venom and even used his servant to heal all the sick on the island. So the Maltese sent Paul to Rome with all his needs covered. There, he remained imprisoned for 2 years in a rented house. From there, Paul evangelized the Praetorian Guard, encouraged believers to work, and wrote letters to the Ephesians, the Philippians, the Colossians, and Philemon. After this period, Paul was released from prison and then wrote the first letter to Timothy and the letter to Titus. But from the year 64, the persecution of the church, instead of being religious, became political, and Paul returned to prison, being locked up in a dungeon, a dark, damp, and unhealthy underground cellar. On the 17th of July in the year 64, the city of Rome, with more than 1 million people, was burned.